Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the Valero Texas Open 2021, my sleepers, fades, ownership projections. We're going to talk weather. We're going to get into all the guys in the PM, AM, tee times, let you know who I'm picking for that. And we've got a lot to cover. Thank you for stopping by. And thanks for all the master picks and the new subscribers. Thank you for becoming part of the community. We much appreciate you stopping by. Okay, let's get into this. First off, just real quick, going to talk about the giveaway for the Masters that I'm doing. And it is for the Millie Maker, but the $100 entry one. I'm doing 2 giveaways right now. And if I get to 500 subscribers by my next Fade Sleeper show, which will be next Wednesday, I'm going to put it through 5 entries. I'm going to put it in a random wheel. We're going to spin it and see who wins. And all you need to get in this contest is like this video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you are, just tell me down in the YouTube comments who you think is going to win the Masters. You know the drill. And let's get you guys into this for free. All right. First off, I want to introduce you to Austin Eckroat. If you do not know who Austin Eckroat is, he is the next phenom coming out of Oklahoma State University. Of course, we're Victor Hovland and Matthew Wolff, and he is the next one in line. If you look at this far right, the PGA has this kind of ratings. I think they call it PGA University. He's rated number 5 right now. John Pock out of Florida State is rated number 1. He would already be playing in more tournaments and probably would have left. He's a senior at Oklahoma State right now. If there wasn't the pandemic and that whole kind of weight thing, he would probably already be on tour. But we have seen him recently at Mayakoba at the OHL. He played and ended up in a T12. And I just brought this because literally the guy that he was right above was Corey Connors, who we know has done well at this course. And I'm not trying to correlate that. I'm just saying it was interesting. But the guy shot in the 60s, shot a 65 on Sunday. You can see that here, 7 birdies, 10 pars, had 1 bogey. For the week, he averaged around over 300 yards off the tee, so the guy can hit it. His accuracy was about 62% of fairways, which that's great. Good putting, and green and reg is, that's pretty outstanding. Of course, that was for Sunday. He was 80%. So he also played in the U.S. Open, played some U.S. AMs. The guy is going to be, I think, a stud. I want to get him on your guys' radar. I think he's like $6,400. I've got an outright bet on him. I think he's 250 to 1. I threw a few dollars on. I made a few dollars on the basketball game last night where UCLA beat Michigan. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to put it on this, and if I hit something, I'll give it to some charity also. Okay, so now you know who Austin Eckroat is. He could be he's one of my sleepers. I mentioned him briefly yesterday, but I wanted to get you guys more information on him. So if he does come up again and he's top 10 and you're like, hey, wait a minute, where'd this guy come from? You can't say, you heard it here first. So, okay, we do have to talk weather, and I am doing more on this than I usually do because back, I believe it was 2015, whenever Charlie Hoffman won this event, there was a crazy wind weather situation where the guys that were, and I forget now if it's morning or afternoon, but long story short was the weather really affected the guys that made the cut. And so depending on if you had an AM, PM kind of, tee times, there's probably, and I mentioned this before, was probably the most that ever showed up. And we could have that same event happening here. So if you look at Thursday morning right now, it is going to blow, and again, I'm recording this Wednesday around noon on Eastern time. So, check your weather app if you are, doing the showdowns, if you are building, your teams. I am going to build some teams preparing for this because it could be definitely a differentiator as in, how you do your lineups. And already quite a few of the guys that I like are in the afternoon, slots that worked out anyways. But you can see, again, if you have that 7, 8 o'clock tee time, it's going to be quite different than when you have the 1, 2 o'clock tee time. So neither here or there, weather can change, but I'm bringing this to your attention. The rest of the week, and then funny enough, the Friday afternoon looks bad again. So it literally looks like if you're in the afternoon here and you're in the morning here, you're getting the better break. And that's what I wanted to point out. The weekend, it's going to blow, but we're not worried about it as much as in, let's get these guys so that we can get your 6 of 6 through, and then see how things shake out. But for Showdown, just keep an eye on it. So with that said, what I went and did is I went and looked at the tee times for you guys, and I wanted to pull out the guys that I like in the afternoon tee time slot. Luke List has been a little rough, but the guy, if he can do what Luke List can do, elite off the tee, tee to green, elite. It's just the chipping and putting. But again, this course, flatter greens, easier to putt on. He could do well here. You got Will Gordon again. He's got really one strong set, and that's, hits the tee ball a long ways. HV3, elite tee to green, is already a pick of mine. Scott Harrington also is good tee to green. And then, of course, Sam Burns was a pick of mine. I like him coming out of this afternoon wave. We got some other guys. So Harry Higgs, again, pretty good tee to green, long off the tee. Of course, Cameron Champ does one thing very well, very long and straight off the tee. Tony Finau, good tee to green. Joel Damon, I'll just tell you now, I'm actually fading him. I won't play guys that won the week before, especially Joel Damon, his first win on tour. The guy's probably still hammered, so I'll be fading Joel Damon. But, you could always argue that he's coming off a win, then maybe the best form he's ever been in. Why would I not play him? So, all right, the 1 o'clock tee time, Hideki, who I was already picking in to differentiate. And we're going to look at ownership projections to see where these guys are coming in. But last I checked, he was pretty low owned out of the top guys. Nick Taylor, he can putt. He can definitely putt on POA. He showed that at the AT&T Pro-Am and actually had a pretty good showing this year too. But he's good from tee to green. I didn't like anybody out of here. Of course, you got Marty Laird, who has won this event before. Andrew Putnam has shown some good form. And J.B. Holmes can hit the tee ball in a short game. So, he's someone that you could look at. Pretty good tee to green, just, terrible chipper and putter falls into that category. Siwoo Kim, same thing, elite tee to green. It's all whatever the putter does. And then actually between Munoz and remember these guys here used to be our free bingo spot. It's kind of stinks when you're putting teams together. These guys used to be under 7K or at 7K, and you played them and they just performed. And now I believe Sebastian's at 7,500, but Lanto is definitely up there. I don't even remember, he's in the 9,000 range or whatever it is. So my shift would be to Sebastian, good tee to green. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between these guys except Lanto, from a short game perspective is a little better. I think Sebastian's better tee to green, but Sebastian can get hot with the putter. He can go 3-4 birdies in a row and then literally go bogey. Who knows how it falls out of there. I like Adam Hadwin, the other Canadians, one of my picks coming out of this afternoon tee time. Nate Lashley, I've talked a bit about him in the past. Can be great tee to green. His putter is typically, he did great on POA, and it's typically what does well at. This is Bermuda mixed with POA. So, who knows? Killer Keith, showed some life again at the Honda where he's won in the past. Can hit the long ball and not bad tee to green, but again, could fit that mold of Corey Connors. The 148, of course, Charlie Hoffman, who's done well here. And, of course, Charlie has to win here to go play the Masters. Same with Ricky Fowler, so you got that narrative going. Johnny Vegas, elite tee to green, been showing a little more life. Of course, the Matthew Neesmith, the model lover, who was elite down the West Coast, struggled on the Florida swing. So see if he can find some form. If he does what he can do tee to green, hopefully the easier putter or the easier greens will allow him to make some putts. Chase Seifert, already one of my picks. Tringali, of course, is up there in price. And he was another guy that used to be, so it's kind of funny. We're talking about Lanto and Munoz. Before that, the two guys that used to be cheap and were your free bingo spots was Fratelli and Tringali. And now, again, those guys have been playing well, so you don't get that kind of break anymore. So you always got to be looking who are those next guys in the, high 6,000s, low 7, that are going to be the next breakthrough guys for you. I think last but not least, I just brought, Ryan Brim. We're actually going to look at him. This guy, I think either leads this field or is second in distance off the tee. And that's almost like a Cameron Champ. That's his one kind of thing, but the guy can just bomb it. Of course, you got Akshay Bhatia who can get hot. Chris Ventura, again, elite with banging the ball. Same with Joseph Bramblett. So all guys with distance, but, maybe follow some other areas. So with that said, let's go look at some of these guys. Let's go look at the analysis and see who we're going to pick for our sleepers. Okay, so what I'm looking at, of course, is Fantasy National. This is where I am pulling my data and models and information. And if you ever want to sign up, it's, like I said, I still don't have my affiliation with them, and I'm not sure if I will. Pat Mayo does. You can put, I think, Mayo 20 or just Mayo or something like that. You get 20% off. So if you are interested in doing some of your own research, I would check out Fantasy National. Out of all the different things that I've looked at and worked at over the years, I like this one best. Now, it could also be that, I tested a couple others in a very early onset, but this was the one that I just kind of really liked all the different things I could do within it. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about these guys I mentioned. Okay, so if you watched my pick show, like the 3 categories that I'm really looking at: tee to green, distance off the tee, and fairways gained. Especially when we get down to these guys. So all these guys are going to be 7,500 and below. Hopefully lower ownership. That's probably going to help make my decisions. Also, the tee time slate. And again, all this from a DFS perspective. So Sebastian Munoz, he had to cut at the players, but a lot of, we saw how many guys that were in the top 10 missed a cut there. So that don't bother me so much. If we go into Sebastian, let's just go see some of the comparables. So again, I mentioned the putter, pretty solid on Bermuda and POA. He's an aggressive putter. Typically, if you watch him, he's always leaving the ball at least 3-4 feet by the hole. I like that because he's making birdies or sometimes making bogeys. He can handle moderate wind. And if we go, let's just take a look at Sanderson Farms. So he won. I always remember this. He won in Sanderson Farms in 2019. Had a 23rd here recently. Let's see how I did at the Arnie. Had a 49th at Arnold Palmer recently. We go look at the Houston Open. He had a 28th. The Genesis, so the California Swing, he had a 43rd and a 26th. So all good comp courses there. Shriners, which is at TPC Summerlin, had a 27th recently. And then last but not least, at Safeway, he had a 33rd. That was 2019. So anyways, that gives you a little bit more information on Mr. Munoz. So I'm still liking him for the price. I mean, it's a pretty good value at 7,500. I don't really distinguish between Lonto, Griffin, and him that big of a difference in my own brain on capabilities. So, and like I said, Lonto's probably had some better finishes lately, but I think Sebastian is about right there. Jonathan Vegas, which, I've been kind of off for a while, but as you see here, he's green or light yellow across the board in all the areas that I'm looking at. Can handle himself in the wind, and he's had a pretty good recent results, so his best was a second at Puerto Rico, but made the cut the players, pretty good at the Honda. If we go look at Jonathan and just see recently how he's done at some of the comparables. So as you see, the putter can hurt him, but it says here you can, gain some little bit of strokage in the wind against the field. You can see here very clear, elite tee to green, not so hot when he gets from approach to putting. Let's take a look at Sanderson. So he's had a 4th there, but that was a while ago. At the Arnold, not recently, not this year, but the previous was a 23rd. At the Houston, he had a 44th. At Genesis, he missed a cut in 2020. Shriners missed a cut, but, had some decent showings there before that. And at the Safeway, I don't know what you call that, kind of blah in the 50th, but he makes the cuts except for, one time. So like I said, Vegas hasn't been where he was from his game perspective, but we have seen signs of life. Like I said, that second at Puerto Rico and made some cuts, got an 18th here recently at Corral. So I feel pretty safe of saying, I'm going to be playing some Vegas. Denny McCarthy now doesn't fit the total mold. I mean, he's, green or yellow, but what he does do is hit fairways. The guy's, one of the best putters on tour, even though that's not the key thing we're looking at, but for that price tag, it's a pretty good value. He's a 6% own. I don't know what that's going to totally end up at, but someone that you might want to look at. He's played here twice and 20th and a cut on 2019. I'm not going to dive into all these guys, but some of them we will that we're interested in. Chase Seifert, which is, he's definitely someone that I'm looking at. Of course, great recent form. Let's go look at Chase a little deeper. So on the splits, positive on both Bermuda and POA. Can handle himself in the wind. Told you about the good recent form. Let's just go see the comparable courses. So 17th at Sander Farms in 2020. At the Arnold, did not play. Let's see about the Houston, miscut. What about Genesis? He didn't play in Genesis either. Striking out here. Shriners, miscut. Safeway, miscut. So from a comp perspective, it doesn't look good. So you're going to go off recent form, and everything here looks pretty solid, except, you know, maybe off the tees a little less. But I like Chase for that price. Harry Higgs, you know, can bang the ball off the tee. And it's kind of funny right here at his last three. He's showing his driving distance isn't as what I guess maybe we perceive it is, but he does these other things very well. Can handle himself in the wind. You know, 2 tough courses. He's done pretty well at the Honda and the Players. So someone that, you know, and I think, you know, you can see his ownership at 12%. So honestly, with that kind of ownership for Harry Higgs, I might be fading him a little bit. Just when I get down on these guys, if I see something like that, I just don't see from the risk reward of, you know, putting myself in that kind of high ownership. So note to self on that one. Nick Taylor, you know, the other Canadian, you know, is good across, we'll say average, you know, maybe a little better than average. Can handle himself and wins. You know, had a good show at the Players, the Genesis. So let's go look at Nick, because it looks like from comparables, he's kind of rating out pretty well. So he likes bent, it's his best surface, which that's interesting, right? Because he, as I mentioned, won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which is on POA. All right, I'm just seeing here. I want to confirm that. Yep, okay, just want to make sure. Yep. And had a 39th this year there. Just wanted to verify that I was on. Sometimes I get him and Nick Watney, my brain mixed up. All right, Sanderson Farms. So he's actually won at Sanderson Farms, but it was a long time ago, 2014. And then recently had a couple miscuts there. So do with that what you like. I mean, I guess that shows that, you know, on any given 4 days, right? Nothing at the Arnold Palmer worth talking about. Hasn't played the Houston. I wonder if it comes up under Vivint now. Okay. Just wanted to share the Genesis recently at 20th, which that's a positive sign. I think that's a good comparable course. What about it? Shriners, pretty decent. I mean, recently miscut, but other than that, had a good form there. Safeway at a 10th and a 9th, so that's good. I think it's a great comparable course. Silverado. So yeah, I like Nick Taylor. I'll probably have some of him. Lucas Glover, I think, is always someone, you know, a major champion. The guy, he is just super streaky. It's either he is on or he's off. I mean, and it's usually a short game that kills him. But as you see lately, he's making cuts. You know, can play in the wind. And like I said, the guy is pretty good from tee to green. It's the putter that all changes. Same with Tom Lewis. You know, he's had some pretty good recent showings. Likes to play in the wind, right? He's European, so that's not a shocker. But, you know, he rates out from tee to green, driving distance and fairways gained. Plays these par 4 as well. So someone else that you might want to look at. Will Gordon, you know, he's a lead in one pretty much area, and that's driving distance. I think he also fell in that tee time that I like, so that's why he got pulled in here. You know, not a lead on approach, as you see, but has been, you know, making a lot of cuts. Let's go dive into Will Gordon a little more just so you can see. So likes POA and Bermuda's positive. That's funny on the other one. It says, I thought it showed that he was positive and as in crazy win, but shows he's positive actually in moderate win. So note to self on that. So he hasn't missed a cut since the Waste Management. So that's interesting. So he's riding good form right now. Let's go look at Sanderson Farms. So he had a 53rd there recently. Arnold Palmer, 49th. The Houston Open, he had a 38th. The Genesis did not play. Shriners, he missed a cut. And at Safeway, he had a 61st. So not bad from a comparable side. And good recent form. I mean, he's making cuts. And at that price tag, you know, we want a little more than just making the cut. So that's, you know, he's getting in the 30s, at the 20s. If he ended up, I think, I don't know, top 30, top 40, that'd be pretty good for that price tag. Roger Sloan, I wouldn't thought much about Roger Sloan, but you know, you can see he's had some of these 20 place finishes here recently. He ticks all my boxes here. Actually, number 2 from playing a par 4 efficiency at this yardage. So that's what made me interested in Roger Sloan. Likes bent the best of the putter, can handle himself in the wind. Of course, we don't have a lot of stats on this side. I mean, at the Honda, we can see he gained 4 strokes tee to green, gained 2.5 with the putter, 5, almost 6 on approach. That's pretty interesting at the Honda. And they had some wind there. Let's just see on the comp courses. So Sanderson Farms recently had a 32. Arnold Palmer, he had a 23rd. That was 2019, not the recent one. At the Houston, he missed the cut. At Genesis, he missed the cut. What about Shriners? That's 2019, but missed a cut. And at Safeway, had a 13th there in 2019, but missed a cut in 2020. So, again, that's why I'm showing you guys this information, so you can kind of make your own. I'm kind of interested in Cameron Champ. I just think this is a spot that he could do well. And not just because of how, long he hits off the tee and how he typically hits fairways, but he's got that low ball flight, and really it just comes down to converting on the putter. I already know that I believe Mr. Champ won the Safeway. Yeah, so he won the 2 tournaments, the only 2 tournaments he's won that I can remember. Maybe there's an alternate event or something there, but these are the 2 tournaments I think and they're both the comparable courses that I like for where they're playing here at the Oaks course. So that's also part of the reason. So it's a price. His ownership is below 5%. So this is a time when you got to get on these guys or take the risk, I should say. And I'm not trying to completely sell you on Cameron Champ. I'm just saying, yes, we know the guy. He's won multiple times on PGA Tour, which, probably 80% of these guys we're talking about have not. So we know he can close. It's all about his approach lately and, what he can do with that putter. If he's, worked on that a little bit, his last event was the Players and, missed a cut, but like I said, a lot of guys did. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to get some differentiated. Joseph Brandlett, he had his T13 at Corrales and, made some other cuts. Had an 18 at the Farmers. He's not a big name. People don't usually talk about, but you can see he ticks all my boxes. He can bang the ball off the tee. He's got some length, can play in the wind. Let's go jump on him real quick. Let's just see. So, again, we don't know. Total strokes gain was pretty solid. But if we look at the Honda, it was the putter that hurt him. The AT&T made the cut, but the putter killed him. At the Farmers, just trying to see his West Coast did all right. Let's go look at some comparables real quick. So, 44th at Sanderson. Safeway missed a cup. I had a 35th way back in 2016 at the Houston, a 74th in 2019. Did he play at the Genesis? He did. He had a 51st. What about Shriners? Yep, 43rd. And Safeway, a 35th, but that was a while ago. Missed a cut recently. So just giving you guys some ideas down here in the bargain basement. Akshay Bhatia, this guy is, as you see, has missed a cut or who knows, but this T9 at Safeway is one of the reasons why I'm on him. And the guy, like I said, is pretty elite, tee to green. You see ranked 10th against the field. He can hit the ball off the tee. You can see he can get a little sporadic, but also does well on the par 4 efficiencies at the number that we need right now, the 450. That's because there's so many holes on this course that fall into that category. So I like Akshay. Christoph Ventura, does thing one, and I brought him into this because of the afternoon, late tee time. Drives the ball really well. He does give himself opportunities, converting the opportunities, but you can see he's coming off 3 missed cuts. Let's just look, just for my own peak of interest in yours. It's funny how much he likes to putt on bent, or at least he's had good showings on bent. Okay, let's go look at some comparables just so we can see. So Sanderson Farms, he had a sixth place, so that's pretty interesting. The San Antonio Challenge, this is the Corn Ferry, played at AT&T. So the same exact course, just it's not the Oaks, it's the Canyons, but on the same. But I would guess they rate out pretty well. So see, sometimes you learn something new. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Just seeing how other people did at this one. If we see anybody that pops up. So Christoph Ventura. Shot all in the 60s. Again, who knows what the weather conditions, all that was. But, yeah, somebody to keep an eye on. Austin Eckroat, there's nothing really to look at here. I'm going off purely This guy, had the 12th at Mayakoba. He ticks all my boxes, and I think he's going to be, as you see, very low owned and at a good price tag. So I'm willing to take a flyer. Scott Harrington's actually been showing up. You can see he's made a bunch of cuts. He can handle the wind. Let's just verify that because I've gotten kind of messy. Yeah. So he can definitely handle the wind. Not a bad putter. Poa Bermuda's not his favorite. Just trying to see. I mean, we can go just check out some of the comparables. I don't think he has not been in the past the best, but did okay at the Arnold Palmer in 2020. Houston, he had a second in 2019, so that's interesting. That would be on the course I was actually looking at the Houston Country Club, not Memorial. Did he play at the Genesis? Yeah, he had 26th place. That's probably where he got on my radar because I think I was a little shocked. I remember I picked his dad, and I don't know if it was at Genesis. I don't remember. It was a few tournaments ago, and then all of a sudden his dad just missed a cut, and then his son actually ended up doing well for him. So probably also some of that. And then the Safeway he's done well at, which is a great comparable course. So somebody that I will be putting in my lineup. And then lastly, Ryan Brim. I kind of mentioned just because of the late tee time. Right now, there's no ownership on him, 6,400, but the guy, from a distance perspective, just crushes it. Leads this field, so that's over Cameron Champ, Scheffler, you name it. This guy just bangs the ball. And he's shown some decent life here. Some easy alternate events, we'll say. But yeah, just someone just to put on your radar. I'll go click. I don't think he's going to have a lot of comparables, but let's just go take a look for you. Sanderson, he had an 18th there, but that was quite a while back. Missed a cut recently. We look at Arnold, has not played. What about the Houston? 2019 had a 45th, so that's interesting. Genesis never played. Shriners, again, 2016, he showed up, but miscut 2019. And what about the Safeway? Again, he had a pretty good 2016 season. It looks like his game just kind of went sideways. I don't know much about Ryan Brim. I'll be very honest. Has he ever played? And then he had a 34th here in 2017. It's kind of funny. I didn't pull up these guys' past history. I should have probably also looked at the Valero for you guys. Let me just do that real quick. I can do it real fast. All right. So I know we did with Munoz. So tournament history for Jonathan Vegas, kind of hit or miss. You got McCarthy at a T20, but miscut. Nothing. Nick Taylor, a couple 20ths and a cut, and then a 52nd. Lucas Glover had a T14 in 2019. Sloan played once, had a cut. T73 for Champ. Bramlett had a T66 way back in 2011. Christoph Ventura had a 36 in 2019. And then, as we just saw, Mr. Ryan Brim had a T34. Okay, I think that's it from the analysis side. Let's go sum this up and tell you who my top 5 sleepers and fades are. Okay, so my sleepers are... I'm going to go with Chase Seifert is my number 1 coming out. Akshay Bhatia. We got, as I mentioned, Mr. Scott Harrington has been showing up well, can handle the wind. Cameron Champ, of course, this is a risk-reward pick here. For the price tag, I'm kind of saying, I don't want to wait till his stock already rises. I want to see if I can get in on the ground floor. Could do very well here. Comps out of different courses. And then the unknown, at least the majority, I'm going to go with Austin Eckroat. I think he could be that guy that's on, the leaderboard after round 1. Maybe a good, as I said, I put some money on him. Could be a great round 1 leader, or one of the round leaders. Can the guy close out on the PGA Tour? Probably not. I mean, I think he's going to go out and win this thing, but could he top 10? There's a possibility, especially in this field. It's not super stacked. From a fade perspective, kind of funny I didn't have those guys popping up, but Ricky Fowler, Ricky, of course, has to win to go to the Masters. So I look at it as he's got even more pressure on him. His game's just been off. I root for Ricky as everybody does. I hope he does. I hope he wins it, and I hope he makes the Masters. I just don't see that, so I will be fading him. Phil Mickelson's made a couple cuts recently, but I've been off on Phil forever. He seems like he's been playing a little smarter. What I mean by that is, that whole, dropping bombs and going to just smoke the driver, 340, 330, whatever. You can see his last 2 tournaments, he's wanted to do better, and he's been hitting more of that 2-wood or the 3-woods or just not trying to crush it. And so, if he plays smart golf, can he get around this course and make the cut? For sure. But he's just so volatile where it goes, birdie to double in a heartbeat. Woodland's had some sporadic showings, but the game's just still not there. But for the price tag, he's someone I thought about taking a risk on. I mean, the guy can be elite tee to green. It's typically the putter and the chipper. Of course, he had the U.S. Open win at Pebble Beach where it just was phenomenal. But we just haven't seen that again. He just hasn't been informed. But he could also kind of upset Kushake. And then I mentioned I just don't play guys who win, especially your first time when on tour. I don't play the next weekend. Sometimes I'm actually just blown away that they actually show up because he, with that win, he's in the Masters. So, why are you playing? I think I'd take a week off. I'd be, enjoying myself, and I'd be working on, I'd be at Augusta right now, trying to see how I can do well there. Okay, before we are done, I totally forgot that we did not go over ownership projections, and that's typically why I try to do it very early on, because then my mind gets sidetracked and then I don't get them to you. So we're going to quickly look through. Again, this is ownership projections coming in Wednesday around noon Eastern. Of course, Finau withdrew, or not Finau, DJ withdrew. We already know that. From the top guys, Corey Connors, funny enough, is the most owned, and Charlie Hoffman. Be a good time, actually. Charlie Hoffman, you could definitely fade. Oh, and by the way, somebody mentioned, I apologize when I talk about Charlie. I did not watch a lot of the corrals. I did have him. I put one team together and actually got paid on that team and had Charlie Hoffman. All I knew was that he was 700 going into that day. And next thing you know, he's like 40th finish, So I think I might have said the putter must have fell apart, because that's typically what would fall apart for Hoffman. It's not usually tee to green, but I guess he hit a couple balls out of bounds. So my apologies. Again, I wasn't stating that I knew that for sure. I think I said specifically that, I think his putter must have fell apart, but neither here nor there. Just wanted to clarify that because there was someone that left a comment, and I appreciate that. I just didn't want you to think that I was trying to act like I watched much of the corrals at all. I did not. My money was all on WGC, and I was doing well in it, so I didn't have to pivot. Anyways, sorry, I digress. Let's go back into this. So, as I already mentioned, Hideki, who's got the good tee time, someone that you could look to pivot to. Kuchar, even though showing at a match play he did well, and he's saying his swing is back where he wants to be, but for $9,000, even when Kuchar is playing well, he just doesn't get you the points. So I can understand that. Siwoo Kim under 15%. Zach Johnson, I'm not on Zach. I know he's won here. Well, he's won this event, but it was not at this course. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that's right. You know what? Let's go verify that. I want to make sure I'm correct on that. I don't think, but I could be wrong. So, Valero, when did you win? It doesn't even show up. I'm almost positive that he has won the Valero Texas Open, but I thought it was a long time ago. But maybe I am wrong on all fronts. So I'll have to go figure that out. Okay. Keegan, that's crazy. He's right almost 20%. This is literally a week. I'll just say this is a weekend that you could literally just pivot off all. I mean, what I'm getting to is Keegan Bradley being, if he's owned almost at 20%, Keegan can miss the cut just as easy as any of these guys. So, yeah, I will definitely build in some of my teams with a lower ownership perspective. Munoz at 5%. Can you tell me Andrew Putnam's a better player than Munoz or Danny Willett because he just showed up at the Corrales? Now, he's not that highly owned. I'm just saying from a cost perspective. I won't say this tournament. I've always said there's certain tournaments that are almost spin the wheel, and any guy that pops up is not going to shock me. I think there's a skill set here, and we talked about it this whole week. But it could be like an Austin Eckroat or, somebody I really feel that's going to come out of not the Charlie Hoffmans and the Keegan Bradleys that's going to win this. It's going to be somebody a little off the cuff. That's just my own thoughts. Gim Reaper, man. Everybody, I've heard some guys that keep touting him. I know the other analyst. I've just watched Doug Gim blow up too many times on the weekend. I've talked about this in the past. On Sundays, even if he does get into somewhat contention. So that's what's keeping me off. When the more he gets in contention and shows me on Sunday that he can not just totally blow up, then I'll probably start looking at him more. Harry Higgs, which is kind of funny. I showed you that. I think everybody, even me at times, think, oh, Harry Higgs bombs the ball. He hits it okay, but he is not like, hitting it 350. He's not Cameron Champ by any stretch, or Ryan Brehm, or even Will Gordon for that fact. Trying to see anybody else. Kevin Chappell, which that's amazing because I want to go on Kevin Chappell on how many miscuts he's had. So he's had, I guess, that 13th at Honda's getting people interested. But, I mean, you could see on some easier tracks a bunch of miscuts. I don't know. I think for the price tag that is, where is he at? I mean, 6,900. I mean, I guess, the guy's got to win here. But, again, that was before the back issues. That's kind of interesting. My Roger Sloan is at 11%. I kind of like that play. And I'm just seeing if there's anybody else that we're concerned. Let's see where Austin is. Hold on a second. Do it this way. 6,300. All right. He's at 2.5% right now. So, again, that's going to be my it could be just the biggest bomb ever, but I just got a feeling with Austin that he could be the game changer. All right, now let's wrap this up. Okay, so thank you guys again very much. If you would do me the great pleasure or privilege of liking this. If you don't like it, I am always ears on how I can do some things better, or what maybe you guys want added to the show. Please let me know. If you've not subscribed, of course, subscribe. It's free content I'm giving, free content. And I want to keep doing this for you guys. And I've heard a lot of positives, so I'm going to keep doing it. And the more people that keep subscribing keeps me kind of moving along. I appreciate that. And if you have anything that you would like to ask me, you can ask me on YouTube comments or hit me up on the Twitter sphere at DFS Golf Guru. And also, of course, do not forget the Masters giveaway. I'm going to start probably after I end this, start working on the Masters preview because we got a lot to talk about there. So all the best. Have a great weekend, and good luck at the Valero Texas Open. Talk to you guys later.